Hello, everyone. Sophia Lucia Perola here with Garden State Film Festival. We are in our 23rd year. From March 27th through March 30th, you can check out, I think, like 200 films this year from all different types of places, countries, all various types of films. And one of the films you can check out is a documentary feature called SEGAL. Here to talk with us about the film are the filmmakers themselves, a lot of people who are involved. I'm going to have you all introduce yourself, starting off with you, Ryan.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan Kraser. I'm one of the co-directors of SEGAL.
Hi, I'm Vernon Davidson. I'm the other co-director of SEGAL.
And I'm BJ Meyer. I'm the editor of SEGAL.
Amazing. And you also were all like producers too. Are y'all being all humble? Yeah, this is all about bragging about you guys. And of course, the star of the film as well. But before we get into it, I'd love for you guys one of you to take it away, telling our audiences and myself what we can expect watching SEGAL at Garden State Film Festival.
Vern's the best at this.
All right, Vernon, take us away.
Well, you're going to get to see what we enjoyed seeing every day at work and the Goldbergs when working with George. As George tells you his life story in his tongue-in-cheek way, very, very humble guy with a great sense of humor. He shares the story of his humble beginnings, his rise through the ranks to leading man in Hollywood in its most prolific eras, from the 50s to the moment that he died. It's fun, it's funny, it's educational, and historical. It's a lot of fun. We had a blast making it. We enjoyed George. I think you could see it by watching it, and it's his life in a nutshell.
Beautiful. I love that, and it was funny and fun, and like also I would say inspiring too. I don't know if it's just because I'm an actress, but like I was inspired. Anyone who like wants to have a long, successful career, like it was really cool to see that the inside scoop of that. So thank you all for making that. I want to get into like how it even began. So you both worked with him, but like when did you decide you want to make a documentary? Obviously it wasn't after he passed because we see him in this film. So how did it start?
Well, first of all, we all three worked with him. BJ was our post producer on the Goldbergs, and we first were at work. I forget what season it was. Had been working with George for some time, and when you get into a family type situation at work where everyone is sharing great stories of their past, how they got to be where they are now, George had the best. They were great. They're hilarious. They're a great reason to go to work every day. And I look at him and I say, I want to be 87 years old doing this. I don't mind doing this till the day I die, if as long as I love it like I do, and I still do, and George did until the day he died.
So how did it come together? Were you guys like, let's all make this film? Like, how did you three get involved?
We
Go ahead, Ryan.
So,
no, you go.
After seasons of listening to these stories on set, I remember sitting there thinking, it's a shame that no one's documenting this, that they're only seeing what he does on screen, but off screen, he was just as funny, even funnier, and charismatic. And so he had this quality about him that I feel is rare now. It's that movie star quality that seems to just be kind of in the flash now. It's these names come and go, and they don't have longevity like he did. And so Vernon and I were talking about what did we want to work on besides that show, because that show gave us several weeks off throughout the season. And if you added them together, it was a month or two off throughout the season, where we could work on another outside project. And so I think we both talked to each other and said, what should we do? And said, what about doing a documentary about that guy? What about, getting him to just kind of spill his guts and see where we go from there? And he, it took a little arm twisting for him, because he didn't think his life was interesting, and he didn't think that he had accomplished what he did. And only until we we talked him into sitting down, and he actually started to go from the beginning of his life to the end. It kind of opened up, corner of his mind that he hadn't thought about in years and didn't realize how much he had done. And so it was like an onion once we got him down.
Yes, lots of layers on there. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And BJ, you did post-production and editing also on the Goldbergs?
I didn't edit on the Goldbergs. I was just the post producer. So after about, I don't know how long you guys were doing interviews, maybe like a year or two, they had all these interviews, hours and hours of footage on a hard drive, along with like every film and TV show he's ever made, which is over 60 years of footage. And they needed an editor to edit it together, so they went to their resident post expert and asked, do you guys know of an editor that could edit this? And I kind of pitched myself because I had always wanted to edit a documentary, and I also said I could do it for cheap. So they were like, you're in.
That's all we heard was cheap.
Yes.
You had me at cheap.
That's the thing. Many things about a documentary I can't even fathom, because it is just so, especially when you have years and years of footage, and it's not just interviews, even though the interviews alone are hours and hours and we're only seeing, a few of it. What was it like, BJ, like having all of this stuff and putting it in an hour and 20-minute film? I'm not exactly sure the ending, but were you two very involved in that? Was it kind of just you with everything, or was this a collaboration to edit it? What was the editing process like?
Well, I told the story recently that when they gave me the hard drive, I think it was 16 terabytes worth of footage. Wow. I said I could do it, and then once they gave it to me, I panicked, and I was like, when am I going to find the time to do all this? And then I think about 3 weeks later, the COVID, everything shut down, and we were all locked in our houses. So I had all the time in the world. So basically during lockdown, I watched every single interview and every single movie George did. So that's how I spent my time. And after, a month or two, I had a first rough assembly. Wow. And then from there, we kind of I just
trimmed it. Yeah.
We all worked together on it.
So as co-directors, Vernon and Ryan, is this like the timeline is where it's going to go, or it just matters what you guys do, interviews and stuff?
Well, we didn't know how to convince him to say yes. He's very self-deprecating and very humble guy. And I said, we got to know enough about him in order to see if there's a story here. And I thought there was, because he had just a regular childhood in a house. His parents were doing okay. And he knew after watching movies for a bit, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I want to do that. And he put it in his mind, and he did it. And all that encompasses that job. Celebridom is a large pill to swallow. Good or bad, George is a Hollywood superstar, and he wonders if it was fate. I said, it was you. You did this. This is all you. Something that was hard and staggering for him to process.
And also the business, the acting was the kind of the through line, but the story also developed into a love story that we didn't see until we started to put it together, and then we're able to track his ups and downs romantically, and found out that it literally came full circle, which was cool.
Yeah. And when it comes to finding that out, wow, this is a love story, there's something here. Did that happen during the interviewing process or after, when you're watching this footage, you're like, wait, I see a through line?
I feel like it happened we really saw it in the edit. Once we started putting the pieces together, we were like, oh, let's concentrate more on this or that, because it just felt right or wrong. Yeah.
I thought it was a nice surprise when you're watching the movie Mostly because of how BJ elegantly set it up with the Benny You Should Tell story leads into another childhood friend, his first girlfriend. Oh, it's interesting that they went that deep to find this guy's first girlfriend and his first childhood friend, only to come back being his third and final wife. The one he actually spent most of his time, his life, if you put it all together with.
Spoiler alert, Vern.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Maybe it'll get people. Everyone loves a romance. Maybe it'll get people
It's
in the
not a
seat.
huge
Hey, the
spoiler.
Titanic was one of the biggest movies ever. You know?
People love romance movies. I say I don't, and I still will tear up at them. I love that. And so when you guys were in these, you said you worked with this man, you heard these stories, but like you were were you guys, Ryan and Vernon, were you there too, BJ, when you were interviewing these?
I mean,
George and these
no,
people?
I wasn't for the interviews. No.
He was on the same studio lot, but he was upstairs, and we were on the set.
Was there any, like, were you guys surprised? Like, I'm sure, were there stories and so many things that you have not heard interviewing this man?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You come up, whether you're an actor, a cinematographer, director, whatnot, hearing these great stories, and you wonder if they're real or if they're over exaggerated. The gall of some people back in the day. But we were all young and determined to get in the film business because we heard it was difficult. But successful people did really well, and they were rather happy at telling stories. And so we all came here for it. And George SEGAL is who he and his generation was part of what we came here watching.
So what is there some advice, you guys, each of you, I'd love to hear from each of you when it comes to, I don't even know what it, like producing, I imagine it's getting the people to say yes, getting them in the interview, location scouting, getting scheduling and all that. But like directing a documentary, because so much of it is the interviews and the footage. I don't even know what the first thing that takes, maybe a narrative film, but directing a documentary. So Ryan and Vernon, I'd love to hear from you. What are some things you've learned about directing this documentary or just in your career so far that, and then
I mean, I would say first off, the editor is worth his weight in gold. I mean, he literally gave us a roadmap to the finished product. We were kind of bumbling and lost, and just like he was overwhelmed, we were even more overwhelmed because we didn't have the tools to put it together. So we can make a schedule, we can take a movie and schedule it. We know how to do that, but editing, we don't have the program to you have to start to just split it into groups, and those groups get smaller and smaller, and then you start putting it together. And if you don't have that in front of you, it just looks like this giant beast that you don't know how to tackle, So I would say that first off.
Burden, what about you?
I need to understand that no matter what we were talking about, I knew when and where that happened. So I made a timeline of George's life, and I shared it with BJ along with the library that we had watched in chronological order of how it went. And you just imagine what was it like in that position. You're 26 years old, if he gives you a half-ass answer, you call him bullshit on him, which really gets him going. You antagonize him. What are you wasting our time here? We got the camera rolling and you're not sharing stories?
Ooh, you got an interesting directing way of you. That's cool.
It's just George and how he came up.
We also had to learn to get out of his way too. Once he did start talking, to just kind of step back and not try to, because it was nonlinear the way he remembered things. So try to steer him in certain directions would have just stopped the process, I think. And so we kind of just let him go with it and then picked up where he left off.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I had originally hoped to discuss it with him chronologically, but he wanted to hop and jump. Yeah. So I had to be versed with all of it right there when everyone just took their Saturday to roll on this, and George came down to do this with us. So it was exciting. It was
Mm.
fun.
It looked a lot of fun. And BJ, any advice for a documentary editor? How do you take 14 terabytes and make a film out of it?
Well, whether you're doing a documentary or a narrative film, you always wanted to find the story, just because it's real life, and you still want to have that 3-act structure, and so finding the story is fun, and I much rather edit a documentary than a narrative, because you're kind of like building the script in the edit, whereas like you don't have a script, you're actually writing it as you're editing it. So I love finding that story. So if anybody,
It's exciting.
yeah,
And a global pandemic helps editors.
Yeah.
Right?
Time. Find the story.
Gives you time to focus.
Yes. Well, we're running out of time. I could talk to you guys all day, and I just want to make sure I know that was George Segal able to see the finished product before he passed? Oh.
No.
Unfortunately, no. Everyone in his life, other than he, got to see it. But yeah, that was unexpected to us. His passing. It was not. He was scheduled for work that day, that week. Those and complications in a I think it was open heart surgery that led to his death. I mean, if you're going to go into surgery after 85, it's got to be pretty bad.
I'm very sorry for everyone who has lost him, and it's the whole world, lost him, but I know people who were close with him. So I am sorry. And I think it is so beautiful that you guys have this amazing tribute, this amazing documentary documenting his life.
Thank
and
you.
I'm so happy that Garden State Film Festival gets to have it this year. Do you guys want to say anything before I tell everyone how to see it and we sign off today? I don't want to cut anybody
BJ,
short.
you're from there. Say something.
I'm looking forward to seeing it in my old stomping grounds.
Okay. Well, will you be expecting Ryan and Brennan? Are you guys going to make it too?
Unfortunately, I can't make it. I wish I was there, but BJ is representing,
BJ will represent
and we couldn't be prouder.
Okay. Well, I hope you're ready for tons of questions. People coming up to you, BJ, since you'll be the heart.
Looking forward to it.
Well, I'm excited to see you there. And everyone, let me tell you how you can see Segal. It will be playing Sunday, March 30th at the Berkeley Hotel, the Continental Room. The film block is 12 to 2:15 p.m. You can check it out down below. Go to gsff.org for your tickets. Thank you all so much for making Segal. Congratulations on getting accepted. And thanks for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of wishing some popcorn, guys.